Hello, and it's another Tikifire toy review. I'm Tikifire. Hello, Tikifire here with another Tikifire toy review. And today I'm doing a little bit different kind of review. This is a souvenir I found in my recent move. This is a plastic vacuform souvenir. It's not really a toy, it's more of a souvenir from the HMS Bounty that used to be on display in St. Petersburg, Florida back in the 1980s and even occasionally up into the 90s and 2000s. Now, the HMS Bounty, this particular version of the ship was a replica, of course. It wasn't the original with Captain Bligh on that. This one was built for a 1950s movie. I believe there was one earlier that was from the 30s, but this was built for, I believe, a 50s movie that had Marlon Brando in it, if I remember correctly. And it wasn't a very successful movie, if I remember that correctly. And so they moved it to the pier in St. Petersburg, Florida. And you can see in that postcard there on the left a picture of it when it was at the pier. And that's an old postcard, probably from the 1980s too. It was there for many years, and then eventually they started sailing it to different places around the world. And for a while it would be at the pier in St. Pete for a while, and then they'd take it out sailing for the rest of the year. I believe really the change came when Ted Turner bought out MGM Studios, bought out their library of movies, and along with it came the ship. And he later on sold that. You can find all this on Wikipedia or other places online where they talk about this. But he sold the ship, and then it became privately owned. And that's when they started sailing to different places, if I remember the story correctly. A few years back, the ship did sink in a hurricane, and unfortunately 2 people were killed in that sinking. A pretty sad story. The St. Pete Times, which is now the Tampa Bay Times, had an online article about it not too long ago that I read. It took a while to read the whole thing because it was really long, and it really delved into the people that were on board, the people that died, and all that. Pretty good read, though, if you want to go dig up that article on the Tampa Bay Times website. Now, this is from one of my childhood visits. I remember going to this ship at least twice when it was there in St. Pete. And if you notice in the picture here, there is a Tahitian village. Basically, that was the souvenir gift shop and entryway to the HMS Bounty replica. And there in the gift shop, I believe, is where they had this vacuform machine, and you could make your own HMS Bounty. There's the bottom. I used to love these vacuum form machines. You don't see them a whole lot anymore. Occasionally at older zoos you see one. On the back there it says HMS Bounty, Mutiny on the Bounty, April 28th, 1785, it looks like. Or 89, yes. Last of her kind. The famous bounty on exhibit at St. Petersburg, Florida. So there's that vacuum form toy. And I used to love making these things when I was at a zoo or at a tourist place like the HMS Bounty, where they would have these vacuum form machines. And I can still smell the plastic. Smell memory is a funny thing. I can still smell the plastic forming in these machines. On the rare occasion I see one today, like at a zoo or somewhere, I will go and spend money on one, even though I don't need it. Get a giraffe or an elephant or whatever's in there. Because it's such a neat thing. It makes the souvenir for you, pours the plastic in. You have to wait a few minutes while it's doing it, and you can smell the plastic. It's like it's cooking almost. And then it falls out in the bottom, and you have to carry it around upside down and let it cool. You have to carry it like this and let it cool. And it's still very soft, usually, when it's warm, and you don't want to bend it and mess it up. So also have a picture, if I can find it, of me wearing a Bounty shirt. I believe I was at another tourist trap here in Florida, but I was wearing a Bounty shirt that I picked up there in the gift shop. I'm sure my parents bought it for me. It was a neat sailing ship. It's really sad that it sank. Even sadder that a couple of people died on that ship. But it's really too bad that it's not around anymore. Looking past all that, it's too bad because you don't have many sailing ships that are actually operable that are around anymore. And even fewer that you can actually go on board and take tours of and see how they worked and all that. So, anyways, it was a neat thing to have around back then when I would come on vacation to Florida and we'd go down to St. Petersburg and see it. So, there it is, the HMS Bounty Vacuform Souvenir plastic souvenir thing. I'm Tikifire. This has been a Tikifire toy review.